the footage.
What is happening, Simon? We're both here in the house today. I'm so excited. Welcome to the Elevate podcast show where we help founders get to the next level. We are here today to talk about some kick-ass stuff, specifically video DMs that sell for you. Simon, how you doing today?
We are live, guys, and you can ask us questions in the comments. Wherever you see comments, we might pick them up. Thanks, Sean. I am excited because every time I meet you, I learn something new in marketing,
likewise,
in sales, and I love this.
Likewise. I love it too. That's why we do it. And unfortunately, our third co-founder, co-host here, Neil's not going to be able to make it today, but we have some really special, juicy stuff for you. And we're going to dive right in talking about video DMs that sell. Now, if you're out there listening to this right now and you use DMs at any place in your business, just maybe write like a yes in the comments section because we love to hear. And if you have any questions about this as we're going through, it's a pretty interesting topic. We're going to share 5 kind of reasons why. I think like the big thing when it comes to DMs, most people say do this, but then they don't have any factual data that backs up why it makes so much sense to do that. So today,
and that's a direct message, right? Can be LinkedIn, Facebook, can be SMS, can be
WhatsApp, anywhere you use anything where you're texting to a client, like the communication medium. That's the one thing that I've spent, the better part of 2 decades studying, because I feel like most people these days don't. I mean, you tell me, how many phone calls do you do sales calls on anymore, Simon? Probably none, right?
Zoom,
right? So it's moved to Zoom, right? So that's the first thing. So phone calls are becoming obsolete, kind of like CDs, kind of like Blu-ray, kind of like all this stuff. Now we're streaming, right? So it's like the evolution will always continue, but there will always be some sort of a medium or a method of how to communicate with clients using words, right? And so most people say, oh, well, that's email, Sean. Well, I agree. It could be email, but the thing about email is it's kind of a dinosaur and it's been working for, forever and ever. And it does work pretty well. But the fact is, most people are looking for instant communication, and the instant communication comes down to DMs, right? So do you remember AOL Instant Messenger? That was like the first one, man. You remember that one?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe it was an American thing. But anyway, let's talk about video DMs and why they're so valuable in sales. And so there's really 5 reasons why video DMs can actually be more powerful when you deliver it through a medium where it should be just words, but then somebody has a video to watch. The first thing is when you're the prospect and you're receiving this, most people expect just a text or a message. But when they get something, they can say, oh my God, there's a video. It's a different experience. So it makes you feel different. That's the first thing that we should talk about. And then as you click into looking at this video, the first big thing to notice, the why it makes so much sense to use this technique. And by the way, stick with us all the way to the end because I'm going to give you the 3 best ways to do this. So we're not going to leave you hanging. But the first one is it builds instant trust. Like it builds massive trust. Simon, let me ask, why do you think it builds trust so quickly when you get a video in a message from somebody?
We get much more information. We get the speed, the tonality, the personality, the modulation. Like if they go high and low or just high, the energy, the frequency. You might even say the soul of the other person, right? There is so much more. The colors, there is no colors in words. You get so much more. The background is telling us which books we are reading. You see even my family here and my friends, etc. So you're seeing that I have flowers. You get much more, right? Much more than just from words.
Yeah, totally. And it's not difficult to do, especially with some of the tools, and we'll share maybe 1 or 2 of the tools that we use. But yeah, seeing your face, hearing your voice humanizes the interaction. I think that's the first thing. It makes it more human. And it feels more authentic. The recipient, like you said, the recipient can sense your enthusiasm, sincerity, warmth, all the crucial things in really getting trust right from the start. Because we all know the reason people buy from us is because they know, like, and trust us, right? The KLT, right? Know, like, and trust. And in order to get somebody to know, like, and trust you the fastest, well, if you can convey through all of the emotions instead of just words, you're going to have a much better opportunity. The second reason why video DMs is really, really powerful is it shows effort and personalization, right? I know a lot of people that just send a quick text in a couple of words. And of course, sometimes it's based on their personality profile. But when somebody takes just a minute or 30 seconds and drops a video in of saying, hey, nice to see you. Or, like sometimes I'll just pick up my phone and video message my parents saying, hey, just was thinking of you today. Love you guys. And I send that note to them. Again, it's kind of that very much effort of, hey, like I really do care about you and I'm taking a little bit more time than most people would. It makes people care about you more. Would you agree with that, Simon?
Parts agreement, parts I hear critique in our community. So I do also a lot of videos. What I hear in our community, so Mondays when we come together, I hear that some of them are actually irritated by videos because they can't speed them up. But these are CEOs, business owners, entrepreneurs who have a time crunch, and most of them are a disc D or a red personality, so they want to skim read quickly. Those are people, when they watch a YouTube video, they put it on twice the speed. And they prefer reading something because they can go through it faster. They skim it. Now, from those people I hear, oh, if I get something that I can't speed up, I'm irritated. But I don't think it's the majority of people, but I hear this critique lately. On the other side, I have a very good experience because for the same reason, not many people are doing it. And so we did a 90 days prospecting challenge in our community, and we tried out all sorts of videos. Videos with the background of their website, videos outdoors, videos indoors. So we had fun and we went crazy and tried everything. And It was all video based. And one thing that I learned there, the highest conversion rate was when you have their website as your background. So I was talking, if it's Coca-Cola, right? I have the website of Coca-Cola, and here is me and saying, guys, I'm on your website right now. This is what I'm seeing. And, short info about what I'm seeing and how I can help them be ready for what's coming for them. And here's how they can talk to me. That had the best conversion rate. So even hearing that critique, it had the best conversion rate if it starts with something that they need to know. So there was no introduction. It was really straight to the point. I'm on your website right now. This is what I'm seeing. This is how I can help you solve it. That had the best conversions. And also, LinkedIn has this feature where you can quickly make a video or a voice note. I'm using that a lot. And people tell me, Simon, you're the first person. It's 10 years that I'm on LinkedIn. You're the first person that sends me a voice note. So you can stand out with it. That's my experience so far.
Yeah, I agree with all of those things that I would say. And I like what you said earlier is like some personalities prefer something that's fast, that gets you results. That's the high D, the red that we're talking about here. And so the nice piece about being able to deliver videos through DMs is you have not only the ability to send the video, where most people just say, okay, I'm going to switch from text to video. I'm going to send a video, and they do that. But remember, you have personalities that you can play with. So you have the power of words and video. So when I'm sending, and so here's what I do. Like if I see somebody on LinkedIn and their profile is a high D, you can tell by just looking at it most of the time. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say some sort of quick blurb before I drop the video that's all about the results that they want, and then drop the video and say, hey, look, you can watch the video or not, but here's what it's about. This is the bottom line. And then they can either watch the video when they have time, or they can say, oh, well, that makes sense. He's just trying to like skip the process. And it allows you to communicate through more mediums than just text or video gives them both. So I think the conversation domination piece to think about there is if you are sending to that particular person or you're selling to a CEO or a high D type personality, use both because that's going to be quick. And I'll remember to use the shortest words possible. And in fact, the most effective amount of words to send to a CEO or a red is 9 words or less. So try to keep everything to 9 words or less. That is definitely statistically proven. So I think that's like one of the big things. So definitely effort and personalization goes into that because the CEO says, well, this guy's really actually thinking about me or girl. So that's number 2. Number 3 is it captures attention. I think you just mentioned this a minute ago. It's just different, right? It stands out. It's the voice notes. I love voice notes, but I hate it when you can't speed them up, right? I love voice notes and I hate it when you don't get the transcription because if you can't listen, if you're in a noisy environment, like it's hard to listen to a voice note, but if you can read the transcription, great. So any of those services that can kick out a voice note with a transcription, I think you're going to do better than if you just send a voice note. And then I also still believe if you send a little bit of text and a video, that's going to be the most powerful way to do it. Yes, it takes more energy and effort, but yes, it makes that person feel like they have a better experience as they're going through it and that you actually care about them. So would you say, I mean, like you always say, it captures attention a little bit more, right? Because you get a little intrigued and you want to see what they're going to say on the video. Yeah.
Yes, and I was very frustrated. We had like 15 sprints in a given month, and all of them were having bad cold email results. It was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, what's going on here? All these 15. And so let's look at the structure of that cold email. And what we found out is there were 2 things going on. And one of them was that the typical structure of a cold email was getting annoying because everybody was doing it. You know, as soon as a blueprint works and then everybody starts doing it, it becomes boring and repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were at that point and we said, okay, how can we break it up? And we did different A/B tests with coming up with something that's interesting. And I was like, okay, what interests them? And so we started with that. I'm on your website right now is the perfect bridge to insert whatever interests them. So we would research the industry. And if we would know, for example, okay, they're selling a 60K ticket, so probably sales cycles are getting longer and longer. We would say, hey, I'm on your website right now. Not sure if this is happening to you right now, but we're working with people like you, and they are having more and more calls before the deals get signed. And so we would have that first sentence. I didn't say who I am, doesn't matter, right? We would immediately say, I'm on your website right now, and then insert the really relevant thing for them. Now we would have their attention, and without the whole spiel of, you know, your 30-second commercial or whatever the traditional things that come there, we would just say, hey, if you want to talk 15 minutes with me, this is how you get to 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean that's absolutely dialed in. I would say like it's really interesting that you say that, and I think the reason that it works so well is because people care about themselves more than anybody else. And so even when you're doing videos like this, as a pro tip, say their name, right? The one thing that people like to hear more than anything else is their name, right? So don't mispronounce it. Figure out how to pronounce it right, but say their name. And here's the pro tip. If you have a 20-minute conversation, you should say their name 3 times, right? 3 times within that 20 minutes is about the right cadence. Sometimes you can do it a little bit more. Don't overuse it, but say their name, because what happens is as you're talking and you're talking, and then I say, Simon, talking, Simon. Now what happens is it breaks the pattern of Simon's focus. And so whenever he hears his name, that's the number one thing he likes, and he brings his attention back. So if you get long-winded, if you're a type that speaks too much, throw their name into your conversation and it'll break your pattern of speech and it'll cause your prospect to actually pay attention to you more. That's a real tip. Like, have you ever heard that before, Simon?
Yes. So we came to similar results because the emails have these A/B tests. So we continuously kill the loser emails and keep the good emails in the drip campaigns.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the biggest winners emails is the one that has, we have 4 to 5 times their name in there.
Yep.
Sometimes at the beginning of the sentence, sometimes in the at the end of the sentence. But it's fun that you applied it also to video. I didn't think in the video context about this.
Yeah, and I think I'll tell you the other thing is if you truly want to stand out when you're DMing, don't be like everybody else, right? There's this rule that I learned a long time ago and it's called the 1%er rule. And the 1%er rule means if you're driving to work at 8 a.m. or whatever, and you're stuck in traffic, and you look across the highway and you see all these Lamborghinis and Ferraris zipping down the other way, and there's no traffic over there, they're the 1%ers. We need to be doing what they're doing. And how do we apply this? Instead of being stuck in traffic, we want to be on the other side of the road. We're being different. Like different, new, and rare are the 3 words that you should embrace in your mind as a founder, because you always want to be different, new, or rare, right? Because you don't ever want to be bigger, faster, or stronger. And the reason for this is if you're bigger, faster than stronger, the immediate thing that somebody thinks is compared to what, right? So we never want to give our prospects anything that they compare to, right? And so being new, different, or rare eliminates that. And now you're not bigger, faster, or stronger. You're just new, rare, or different. And they don't have a basis of comparison. And it ties into the primal brain. And then they only base their decision on the words and the video and the stuff that you're presenting to them. So that's very powerful. And how do we do it in DMs with names? Bringing it back full circle here. Everybody, if you went into your unread messaging thread right now on any of your socials, and you went and you looked at it, it would say, hey, Simon. Hi, Simon. Hey, Simon. Every person would be saying, Simon, Simon. Hey, Simon. What's up, Simon? Simon, Simon, Simon. In the first 2 or 3 words of a DM, most people throw the prospect's name because that's what everybody tells you to do. That's what GPT tells you to do. But the thing is don't do that. Be different. Be the 1%er here. And instead say, I love your background, comma, Simon. So throw the name at the end of your first sentence after a comma in your DMs. That will get you higher open rates and more engagement. Promise, promise, promise. I've tested it a million times from Sunday. So that's just one little trick that I would share. Simon, would you say anything back on that one?
Sounds great. And you're right. If everybody sees the same thing, now you break the pattern.
Yeah. Perfect. Breaking patterns is what it's about. And remember, when you write DMs, your first 5 words in your DM are like the headline of your email. So people can actually look in their unreads and they can see those first 3, 4, 5 words. Those are the most important words that you want to spend the most time whenever you're writing a DM to somebody. Focus on that and do not use their first name because you will win more often. Let's move on to number 4. You said this one earlier. I want you to talk about this one. Conveying emotion and tone is the next reason why video DMs are so much more powerful than just regular DMs. Simon, talk about emotion and tone in sales and why it's so valuable.
You know that in my first career, I was a psychotherapist. Not many people know this. And what we learned in psychotherapy school is that 80% of everything that matters between 2 people is voice.
Really?
So when we fall in love with voice.
No way.
When we speak on the phone, it's obviously voice. But when we meet in person and we have a coffee, it's the voice. And think about it. You know, the people that you really love, you like the sound of their voice, the speed of them talking. Today, I met an amazing guy, really smart entrepreneur from New York, but he was talking so fast that I couldn't understand more than 80% of what he was saying. That makes it really hard to go all in if you are not in sync on the voice level. Voice goes so deep, and breath and voice are really the deepest, if you want, the most emotional and the deepest belly to belly kind of levels of communication. And then the 20% is the choice of my words. But it's 80%. If you hate my voice, it's over. We're not going to work together. If you hate that guy, I hate your voice. You know, I remember once one of our colleagues, we were out at a retreat, and it was fun because there was a church in that space. And every morning, a colleague of mine, she said, I'm going to do yoga session before every working session. Who wants? Let's do yoga session. And it was in this little church. We were doing yoga in the morning before the work would start. And she was telling us, do this, do that. And we were doing yoga. And then afterwards, I said, wow, your voice is so, I could listen for hours to your voice. So when you have that feeling, right, this is a conversation that's going to continue. These are possibilities open up. These are people who want to meet again, who want to do more together. So voice is powerful. That's my take.
I mean, I agree with that 100%. And here's, again, just how do we apply it for founders so they can elevate to the next level? I think what's really unique about what you just shared is it's true, right? I've studied this as well, not as much as you've studied this, but the one thing that I'll share is this. The way somebody speaks. So like we always talk about sales systems, right? Simon's got his sales system. I've developed a sales system over the past 30 years. They're very similar, right? They have a lot of the same pieces inside of it, mostly all of them, I think. I haven't actually matched them up. But the first part in my selling system is the bond and connect stage. And when you bond and connect with somebody, a lot of people are like, in the old days, it was going to their office and look at their picture and say, oh, that's a nice, sailfish on the wall, right? Like, and that's how most people think that you bonding, connecting actually happens. And that's not at all how it happens. How it happens is kind of under the surface level, right? Is the speed, the pitch, the tone, the volume, the intensity of how that person talks naturally is their filter. So if you truly want to spin kick them when you're delivering a video DM to get results, go watch one or two of their videos on their profile and learn how fast, what's the cadence that this person talks? How much pause do they have? Do they get really intense and deep, or do they kind of shy away and back off, right? And so when it comes to the bonding and connecting stage of a sales conversation, it's the first 90 seconds that makes the biggest difference. And if you can imitate or mirror and match or mimic or monkey see, monkey do, whatever you want to call it, exactly the cadence of how that person speaks, you'll instantly go right into their primal brain and they will accept your voice is cool. I want to keep listening to it because you speak on my level. And so that's what I teach all the people that I work with is this idea of like, listen to the first 2 or 3 sentences that your prospect says and how they say it. And then you just mirror that right back. Now, if you're on Zoom, right, the other thing is you have visual, or video, you have visual. And if you see that they're kind of like leaning to one side with their hand on their face, you should lean on one side and put your hand on your face. Just mirror and match exactly what they're doing, because they will instantly say, this person's exactly like me. And that's amazing. And when you can convey the right emotion and the tone that your prospect is giving to you, they will love you forever. Right, Simon?
Yeah, it's pacing and leading. It's in psychotherapy school, in the hypnosis tradition would use pacing and leading.
Yeah.
And the first part you have to pace, otherwise you don't have the connection. And the second one, you lead. Now you start introducing, so they speak slow, we speak slow. You omit words. Now that you're connected, second part is leading. Now you start, if you want them to speed up, you speed up, and then they will speed up with you unconsciously. Most people don't even realize that it's happening, but it's happening when you are in sync and one person changes something or does something, the other person goes with it.
Yeah, and it's only, and again, how long is the question? Most people say, how long do I have to do that for? The first 90 seconds. It's a minute and a half. If you can mirror, match, pace, and then start leading for 90 seconds. So what I tell people is everyone has their own personality profile. Everyone is their own person with their own modalities, and you speak at whatever cadence. And so intentionally, when you're speaking with a prospect, go at their cadence for the first 90 seconds and then just switch back to yours and stop thinking about it. That's the easy way to do it. Okay, cool. So yeah, definitely sense of excitement, urgency, warmth, all that stuff that's hard to achieve in text alone. This is why video DMs are a lot more powerful than just sending a text, because you can't get some of that stuff. But let's move on to the last one before we give you the
One
three.
objection,
Oh,
one objection that I hear often in Europe, Americans never say that, but in Europe, they say, but wait a moment, a DM is personal. We're talking
mm,
business here. I'm in B2B, business to business. And now you're saying I should sell them a personal message? That's personal. You're overstepping boundaries here. I'm curious about your take. What I usually say is, guys, everything is personal. If you care about your business, it's a personal thing. If you care about them, that's personal. If they don't like you, they will never do business with you. So if they don't like you as a person, yeah, then you feel it quickly and you move on to the right people because they are not the right people for you. Um, do you hear this objection?
yeah, yeah, I do, and the way that I don't handle it that way. I love how you just handle it, so I'm going to steal that. Thank you. By the way, this is the Elevate podcast where founders learn from other founders. Thank
We
you,
learn
Simon.
from each other all the time.
Yeah, all the time. The way that I talk about it is like this: is say, hey, do people buy from a website without knowing anybody? Yes, if it's a commodity. But if you're selling something any higher ticket than any type of commodity, typically there's a little bit of a longer sales cycle, and you have to get this know, like, and trust feeling with either that company, or more so, people buy from people. They don't buy from web pages. They don't buy from ads. They don't buy from company names or brand, maybe brands, big brands like Nike or something. And you just go there because they make good shoes or whatever. But
That's
if it's a
over.
right. So,
On and
but
Hook are eating their lunch.
yeah, there you go. Right. So, and that's the point, right? So it's like people buy from in the B2B space, unless it's a commodity level accessory or item, people buy from people. So do we need to be personal? 100%. If you're not, you're missing the boat, and you're probably leaving a lot of deals on the table, and things are slipping through the cracks. So being personal, I think, is truly very effective. And the other piece is, when you are personal with your prospects, they remember you, because that's what you want them to do. When you get their mind share, even when they're not speaking with you, if they think about you, you're winning, because that means you've stolen some of their mind share when they could have been thinking about something else. And when you deliver something that's truly super personal, this is why I like direct mail. Right? From time to time, I'll find a big hitter, like I call it my Dream 100 strategy of my 100 dream clients that I'd love to get. From time to time, I'll just send them something in the mail that I know will just light their fire, and they'll get it
Sean,
in their mail.
let's make an episode about the Dream 100, how to
Oh,
start your list
100%.
and how to every week nurture that list.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Yeah. So for anybody that doesn't know what the Dream 100 is, just a quick interjection. There's a fellow named Chet Holmes that created this list. I have the whole story. I'll tell the whole story. I know it really
Let's do
well.
a
So
full episode on
yeah,
that.
that
It's
will be
worth
it.
it.
That
It's
will be a
worth it. I'm using it
powerful.
every day.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so I have a ton of that on that stuff too. Okay, cool. Yeah. So be personal is the result there. Let's move on to last one. Is this usually when you're sending a video DM, it will increase your engagement versus just sending a DM. And for all of the reasons that we shared, studies show this. A video DM can create curiosity, can make the recipient more inclined to respond to you. It leads to a more meaningful conversation. They say if you want happiness in your life, there's really three things that you would ever need, right? Number one is relationships that you truly deeply care about. Number two is meaningful work. And number three is making money doing your meaningful work. And if you and it was a study done over, I think there was like 85-year long study, and that's the three things that came out of it. And so having meaningful conversation or delivering through a video DM, you can actually drop something that's really meaningful to somebody, and it becomes very effective in sales, like one of the most effective things that you can ever do. But again, remember, getting engagement is always that first step. So you have to do something that breaks the pattern and gets them to come back in your direction. Once you have that, then you could go down this path, right? So I would say it totally, I mean, your studies showed that using video completely increases engagement versus not, correct?
It did. It totally did.
Cool.
Videos, especially if their website is on your background. So if you are pointing to their website, hey, I'm on your website right now, this is what's happening, that had the highest conversion.
Okay, so let's move into kind of the speed round here, lightning round as we call it. I'm going to deliver 3 of the most effective video DM type messages that you can send. I'll maybe say the first one and give you a little bit of background, Simon. You just banter back and forth on your thoughts on this, and then we'll kind of keep going. So, the first one is Simon actually mentioned this earlier, is the personalized introduction video. This is an icebreaker type video. Think of it as your first handshake. In this video, you're introducing yourself briefly, mentioning something specific about them, what's important to them, maybe like a recent project or post or shared connection that you might have, and explain why you're reaching out. I would suggest these ones are short, like 1 minute or so. Keep it genuine and lighthearted. And this is about creating a human connection and not selling anything. Remember, our first interaction, our first shot off our bow is never to sell. It's only to create connection. And why this works is prospects really appreciate when you've done your homework. Like they will say, geez, like this person actually looked into my world and did my business. In fact, I was just working with this other company, and one of the things they do is they will go down and they'll look at your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your Twitter, all of these things, and come back and say, hey, you have this much opportunity here, 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 here. And they actually point it out on a document and say, we think that you might be losing some deals through the cracks here because you have so many followers. Are you reaching out and connecting with all of them? And that's really their first like introduction personalized video that they send. And their response rate's like 70% plus. It's off the chart, like crazy high, right? And so that's really, just not sending a generic message and making it very personalized is kind of the first key type of video DM. Simon, what would you say on that one?
I love that 70% is really high. What we are doing right now in many sprints is, can we talk to the right person at the right time for the right reason? And the first one, usually when people work with you guys, with us guys, the first one we solve pretty quickly because we define the ideal client, and now they are much more precise in creating their lists. They have their Dream 100. So the first one is easy to solve for. The second one, talking to them at the right time, this was the hardest thing for us to get right. Because how do you know, right? You don't know what's their priority right now, what's happening in their life. Are they budgeting or have they budgeted? All these very important things we don't know. And sometimes they might be at the grocery store, like when the message happens. So we don't know, is it the right time? So we have been tinkering and tinkering. I hired a guy just for this sprint. And we're building Google alerts that tell us specific situations, right? This just happened. They took over that department. This just happened. They just got a Series A. This just happened. They started hiring a setter. And that gives us a trigger to talk. And now we are experimenting. It's in the middle of DM, right? Should the first message be just, hey, congrats, and just connecting? Or should the first message be directly, coming to the point? And we're A/B testing right now.
I'd be very interested to hear what your results are, because I've extensively tested this as well. And my results are the following. If you start with a genuine compliment, you will get a 20% boost in engagement. That's the result. And so if you're looking for this and you're like, how do I really start really authentic, great conversation? Using a quick personalized video, just saying, Simon, I love the strategy since Sprint System. I read the book. I think you're doing amazing. Just want to say, what's up? Keep it up. Keep kicking ass. I hope to talk to you soon. In fact, I'm really busy today, but I'll be back soon. I just want to make a quick video and say hi. And I would send that to you as your very first introduction message. You watch that and you're like, there's no ask, there's no give, there's nothing. He's just giving me a compliment. That experience will almost every time get a response from somebody, right? And so that's what we even teach in messaging. When we teach it, we have the 4 hinge points of every DM conversation. The first one is just to get engagement. And the number one thing to do is to drop a sincere and a real good compliment for somebody. And the nice piece about doing this in DMs that nobody understands is when they get a really nice compliment, they think it's a really nice compliment. And when you write it one way and you template it, then you can send that same compliment to multiple people. And you sending it, you might say, well, I'm sending the same message over and over and over, and that's going to be like kind of pretty generic, but they're receiving it differently. So it's all about how they receive it. And as long as you write great, and again, this is why, when LinkedIn has like the generic fill in the box template for you, it says, "Hey, thanks for connecting," first name, and that's all they say. It's a form of a message that won't get marked as spam, and most of the time people will respond to that. So if you just beef it up a little bit, remember 9 words or less, and we actually make a really nice compliment that we can use universally for our prospect target markets, you're going to be able to win because you can set that on repeat and send it to lots and lots and lots of people. And so that's really the first piece of it. So I agree with that. I think that's really valuable. Okay. That was the first one, right? So the personalized video DM, just saying, hey, here who I am, keep them a compliment. That's what we're about. The second one is what we call the quick value drop video DM. The quick value drop is focusing on delivering one thing, one key insight, tip, or strategy that's specifically relevant to their business. Just one. Don't go over then more than one because it will go over their head, right? Share something valuable and actionable like, hey, did you know this about your thing? Or a tip, quick, or a hack related to a problem that you believe they may be facing based on the appearance of their socials. And this video is all about adding a little bit of value, just enough to get people curious and interested to come back in your direction. It's free advice. It's right off the bat. You're establishing yourself as an expert if you do it well. Position yourself as the guide, not as the hero of the story. That's another episode we should do, is the tale of two hero journey. We should do that one as well. That'd be another good one. But it makes prospects more open to further engagement, specifically those people that are looking to do something that you're a specialist at. So that's the quick value video drop. What would you say on that one, Simon?
I want to say thank you to Florence for your nice compliments. And yeah, our current experiment, AB, is with the right timing. And what we are really interested about is what's the perfect time. So one exercise that we're doing right now is having everybody in the sprint write down 5 events. So for example, they just got a kid. They just they're hiring somebody. They're got a Series B funding round. Write down 5 events that would be the perfect moment to start the conversation that you want to have, that they need to have with you. And so we're coming up with a bouquet of events. So the first part is, opening up, and because if you can find one event that's really the perfect moment, right? One of our clients, they sell to hospitals, and so they're trying to find out when does that department budget. And so if they find out, oh, this is the budgeting period of that hospital, that's the right moment for them to talk to them. So we really want to have 5 events, brainstorm. And then when we got 5, and we don't stop with 3, we stop at 5, because the next step is then actually creating a Google alert, and in our case, an automation for them where automatically that message gets out at the right moment to the right person. Because now the Holy Trinity, right? Right person, right moment, right reason. Now we have a chance of getting all the 3 rights, and we say then the stars align, right? Because right person, right moment, right reason. This is a really natural, organic, good conversation. It's the opposite of spam.
Yes, the opposite of spam. That's what we're always about. Nobody likes spam. I wrote that one down because I think that's really cool. I like that little drill again. 5 events or reasons that would make sense to connect with somebody. Think about that through the lens of your prospect and how they do it. I always call it walk in their moccasins, be in their world for a minute, and just sit there. think about like if somebody was coming to me with a service that you potentially offer, when would the right time be? And that's the kind of thought work that you have to do. That's the hard work, because once you get it right, it works every single time, right, Simon? Like there's no question. Like when you know, right? Okay, and the last one here, and then we'll wrap it up for the day, is the what we call the check-in or the follow-up video DM. This one I think is one of the more powerful ones. This happens only after you've already connected with one of your prospects. You're either in the process or maybe they're even a client at this point, to keep high levels of rapport and engagement, because retention is a big thing in business, right? Keeping clients forever, because it's way less expensive to keep a client forever than it is to go find a new one. That's been proven I don't know how many times. But after the initial exchange, we can send this follow-up video to keep the conversation alive, right? We can reference things that you discussed previously. Maybe they said something to you. You can ask, I love this one, asking a clarifying question is always the best. It's like, hey, I had a question. I dropped this 2-minute Loom video for you. Like just throw me an answer, would you? And I drop the video and I send it, and that gets engagement almost 100% of the time. You can always drop a video that has a little bit of additional value, or maybe like a resource.
What are
or a
some
link.
questions that you ask?
It really depends on like kind of case specific. So as an example, if somebody is, let me just open my notes and I'll tell you one that I just recently did, because I got one here. So here we go. Learn, plan, build, grow. Okay, so I was speaking with this guy, Bill. He runs a company called Convergo, and he focuses on companies using EOS, which is the model that they'd put into their systems. And he said he has this system. It's called the Learn, Plan, Build, Grow system. And we went through it on the call, but I was unclear about step 3 in his little process. So I just whipped him a quick video after I'd sent my follow-up initial. I'd waited about 4 or 5 days, didn't hear anything back from him. So I went back and was like, how do you re-engage? I wrote back and was like, hey, I was researching your Learn, Plan, Build, Grow system, and I got stuck on the build phase. Like, could you just break that down in like a step-by-step of how that one works? And that's it. And I'd send that to him.
Because I love this. So you look for weak signals that the temperature is going down. Like this is the sales pros. You see them because they look for the weak signal. They're not surprised 6 months later, what happened? They're ghosting me, because they're looking at these weak signals all the time, right? They say, usually he answers in 2 hours. Now it's the second day. Nothing's coming. Your spidey senses already start, and you find a quick one question that can be easily answered, and they love to talk about because it's their unique mechanism, right?
Yep. And then it takes it off it relieves all the sales pressure, because now they're just sharing, and everybody loves to share. Everyone loves to help. So let them be in that space for a minute, because it's going to allow them to now love me more. The fact that I'm doing research and trying to learn about them a little bit. And then they're going to be like, he was right. Like his system's really great. I should actually buy that thing. And then they're going to come back and buy, right? That's
genius. Genius. Yeah. Guys, play this back, write it down, implement. Sean just gave you $1 million idea here.
It works. I mean, that's it helps, right? So, all right, and so that's it, right? So this one is that natural progression from induction to engagement to relationship building. I think that's more of the follow-up check-in DM video is more of the relationship building mechanism that will make it easy for you or for your prospects to see the value in working with you as another founder. So that's going to wrap up our show for today. Next week, we're going to dive into the Dream 100.
Dream 100. I use it every day. I use it every single day with every client, and I use it myself. So this is going to be hot.
Yes. Next week's going to be this was a hot episode, hot take too. But again, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. We'll answer those at a future show. We always respond to you. So anything regarding how to get to the next level as a founder, that's why we call it the Elevate Podcast. That's why we're here for you. And with that said, we can't wait to see you next week. Thank you so much. Hopefully this was valuable, and we'll see you next week.
Dream 100 next week. Bye-bye.
Avoid trying to do thousands of things that doesn't work. We have 274 templates for your business success. Reach your ambitious goals with one-on-one sprint coach. We double your revenue in 90 days.
run well, even when you are on vacation. Discover how 1,600 business owners have regained their freedom using the Strategy Sprints blueprints. How they enjoy living their dream and watching